All right. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in the world. Excited to have you for our fifth installment of our series. This is helping transform teaching and learning. I'm super excited to hand things over to our keynote speaker here in just a little bit. But before doing that, wanted to take a minute to introduce myself. My name is Kevin Hodges. I lead our Texas K-12 go-to-market for the great state of Texas. I work out of our Google offices in Austin, Texas, and couldn't be more excited to be with you all today. So, wanted to kick this off with a simple slide. Learning is at the heart of what Google does, and for me, this really resonates because I've been a Googler now for almost 10 years. In fact, my 10-year Googleversary is at the end of March, and I've actually had an opportunity to see firsthand what Google's vision for education really looks like. And you can head down a multitude of different ways to really look at that or define that in different lights. But for me, is I truly feel that we are building lifelong learners of the web, ultimately in allowing Google tools to be a source of learning for everyone, right? Whether it's with Google Photos, it's with YouTube, it's with search, it's with Chrome or Android. Really, learning is at the heart of everything that we do here at Google. We want to bring the best of Google to education. So that means everything from Chromebooks, a revolutionary hardware with an operating system that makes it very easy to manage and scale, cost prohibitive for districts to make large investments and to go one-to-one. And when you add the Chrome Education Upgrade as a feature to manage and scale those devices, it's truly the backbone of what Google for Education is today. We've got great promotional collaboration and creativity tools. When you look at Google Workspace, of course, you've got Google Classroom, you've got Google Drive, Docs, Sheets, and Forms, and they bring everything that the Chromebook has to life and allowing students to really dig deep into their creativity and their thought leadership and engage in great learning experiences across education. We enhance and elevate class content, whether it's through our Computer Science First initiative, which is our CS First program. So coding and programming for elementary and secondary students. We've got a really great teacher center. So for those educators that may be in attendance today, Google certified level 1, level 2, trainers, innovators, really earning that badge of honor that they can show their commitment to the Google platform. Of course, applied digital skills is also great for our high school students, giving students an opportunity to learn great resume writing skills, coding, the list just goes on. And then finally, which happens to be one of my most favorite ones, is Be Internet Awesome. What a great tool to allow students and family and community members to be safe on the web, albeit social media or other platforms. BIA is a great resource and tool that we use to help elevate content. And bringing you more and more choice than ever before in 2022. As I said, I've been here 10 years. I've never seen a more robust and ready to go ecosystem that Google's built for education. And it all starts around, again, Google Workspace and Chromebooks. So for many, many years, we've had one platform of Workspace. Now we're opening this repository up to 4. I'll dig into what those 4 look like here in just a little bit. We've got 40 plus new Chromebook models, everything from Samsung, Acer, Dell, Lenovo, Asus, LTE being a big proponent of that, Wi-Fi 6 being built in, the smaller, the faster, and again, cost prohibitive for districts to take advantage of. And then building out 500 policies in the Google Admin Console. And I still remember back in the day when we only had 15, maybe 20 features built into that console to go to 500 policies or more. We're really listening to the educator community and really building great tools for devices to be managed. On top of that management, again, really digging into Chromebooks, being able to scale a fleet of 30 devices or 300,000 devices over the web, taking advantage of using kiosk mode for standardized testing. We've really heard our Google educator community about auto updates and auto update expirations. So 8 years of AUE, which is gives you more bang for your buck around devices, and being able to equip students and teachers with really tailored, personalized learning across all Chromebooks. And then again, matching your device needs for built-in LTE for connectivity, or just using it across the web. Again, Chrome education upgrade. Think of the Google admin console or the management console, taking control of what and how the devices are used in a classroom, tapping into advanced features, simplifying deployment over the web using a cloud-based admin console, and 24/7 IT admin support. So if there's a change that you need to make around how a device is used or scaled across your district, an admin simply logs in, makes the changes appropriately in the admin console, and things are done automatically on the fly. Cost savings, we're saving districts 70% of their funds by switching to Chromebooks. It is a really great personalized learning tools that a number of our districts are enjoying and investing in. All right, Google Workspace for Education. This seems to be a hot topic across our education community. So we have taken a lot of feedback from our education community, and we have built out 4 Google Workspace for Education portfolios. So I'll start from the left, I'll go to right. Google Workspace for Education Standard, really built on IT security and privacy and deployment, right? So being able to set up additional features within Workspace, whether it's Gmail, Drive, Docs, Sheets, or Forms, really allowing you to bring the full gamut of our security and privacy tools to the table. Teaching and learning upgrade. Think of T&L as a curriculum and instruction-based product in Workspace, really leaning into what you can get across Google Classroom, all the new features that we have around Google Meet, whether it's in recording or breakout rooms. So teaching and learning really focusing on the curriculum instruction side. And then, of course, Google Workspace for Education Plus. So this brings in everything that you get in Education Standard and Teaching and Learning and Upgrade all under one house within Education Plus. So the IT deployment side, as well as the curriculum and instruction side. And please rest assured, some of you guys remember Google Apps for Education, then transitioned to G Suite for Education, and now Google Workspace for Education Fundamentals continues to be the free product that our education community knows and loves, and that's not going away. It will continue to remain free and allow you to continue to use and scale using the tools that you love around Workspace. Finally, Google Classroom. It is our source of truth. It streamlines creativity, grading. It's a collection of assignments, really focused on student outcomes. I can tell you firsthand, as we've been in the midst of COVID over the last couple of years, Google Classroom has been a savior for a number of our educators around the world, really allowing them to dig into the ecosystem of Google Classroom, scale and share out amongst their students during that virtual learning environment. So Google Classroom sits nicely within our Google Workspace for Education tools. Why Google for Education? So listen, we believe access to great learning experiences is important, and we take all the feedback that we receive from educators like yourselves to really grow and scale our products to make it really what you need across all facets of the education pillars, right? So again, when we look at how we've grown over the last few years in particular, we've got 150 million plus Google Classroom users. Chromebook users are at 40 million plus users. We continue to be the #1 device globally. And Workspace users, they continue to grow, right? The collaboration tools, the creativity tools continue to grow and scale. And we're really, really happy to be where we are today. And of course, have the relationship and the partnerships across our education communities as well. So sending a lot of gratitude to everyone here for the Why Google for Education and being on this bandwagon with us during this amazing journey. All right. Let the fun begin. I couldn't be more excited to introduce Ramon to you guys. So I met Ramon going back to the end of 2021, and have heard his story and all the great work that he's been doing. You'll hear how Google has influenced him. Workspace, Classroom, Chromebooks have influenced the teaching and learning. I'm honored to call Ramon my friend, and really excited to introduce the 2022 Teacher of the Year, Ramon Benavides. Ramon?
Hello, everyone. Well, first of all, thank you, Kevin, for in the introduction, and thank you for everyone out there, for wherever you're at, for taking time out of your day to be part of this Teach with Chrome series. And I'm honored and humbled to share with you how Google Chrome and all its amazing applications and tools power my classroom. I'm Ramon Benavides. I'm a science teacher of 13 years, where I've been teaching at Del Valle High School for the last 10 years in El Paso, Texas. Just to give you a bit of background information about our little community, our school is located about a mile away from the U.S.-Mexico border with our sister city of Juarez, Mexico. This area is unique because there's an intersectionality between the two cultures. And over the years, I've evolved because these two cultures bring a richness and a diversity to our school. But not only our school, our kids bring it to the classroom as well. So throughout my years of teaching, I've evolved, and I've now acknowledged that each one of our students is part of this intersectionality. And each one of them brings a set of lived experiences to the classroom. And my job as a teacher is to make sure I meet the needs and make sure I acknowledge these lived experiences to better serve them, and through inclusion and equity and access. And Google has been a big part of this. Has been a big part of how I've evolved as a teacher. And just last year, based on what I've done, I went from a campus teacher of the year to a state teacher of the year. And these are our kids, and these kids are everything to me. They're the reason I do what I do, and everything that I do is truly about them, especially doing this right now. It's about sharing their stories and, like I said, acknowledging their lived experiences and how important it is to me to have these relationships with our kids. So here's our little session outline of what I'm going to talk about. I'm just going to introduce about the different roles that I have, and then just go into a 3-part little story, and then wrap it up. And so let's go ahead and get started. So as an individual, we have many responsibilities, many roles. Teaching is no different than anything else with that has all those different capacities. The roles somehow have to coexist, in order to create some continuity, to have some efficiency, and also to be impactful in what we do. There has to be several different factors that hold all this together, and that's what I'm going to talk about. I'm going to talk about all the different roles and then how it's all held together. So the first role, my primary role, is I'm a husband and a father first, and everything I do is for our small little family as well. A quick shout out to my wife. I hope she's on. She's able to make it. She's expecting. So we have a baby due this late April, early May. We have a little rambunctious middle schooler, and hopefully he's not on. He said he was going to try to get on. I hope he's in class and doing what he's supposed to do. So shout out to them. And like I said, that's my first role as a husband and a father. The next one is I'm an education advocate, and I'm huge about this. I'm a teacher and student advocate. I advocate for our students. I advocate for our profession, and especially our little area, our little corner of the world, of the space here in El Paso. But most importantly, I'm a science and STEM advocate for underrepresented students. And all I try to do with this is that I try to create opportunities. I call myself an opportunity facilitator. And I try to create opportunities for our kids in order for them to be successful in what they want to do, especially if it's in STEM and science, because the kids in our area are underrepresented, especially our female students. And I'll talk about that a little bit more as we go along. And 4 years ago, I'm also a PhD candidate. 4 years ago, my wife and I took a leap of faith, and we entered a doctoral program in educational leadership and policy, where I'm focusing on STEM leadership, STEM teacher leadership, and science teacher leadership. And we're at the tail end of our journey, hopefully graduating this upcoming August. And hopefully our 3-month-old will be able to be there with us as well. And another one of my roles is that I'm also a part-time adjunct at our local community college. I've been doing this since 2017. And I teach everything that's biology. Whatever is given to me, whatever is offered, I take it. And one of the reasons I like to do this, because as soon as I stepped into the higher ed, I got to see the students that were coming to me. And a lot of these students were still lacking the basic skills in order to be successful at college. So this gave me a different perspective and allowed me to change what I do in the classroom. And technology and Google has been a big part of that. And then finally, the final role is being a high school science teacher. I've been doing this since 2009. I've taught almost everything. I did 1 year of middle school, and 1 year was enough for me. So I went back up to the high schools. I teach anything biology right now. I'm also a club sponsor. I'm on different committees. I'm on different organizations on our campus and across our district. And all that, is in a nutshell what I do. But all that is held together by and powered by Google and all of its products. So technology plays an integral role in maintaining and sustaining these roles. And Google has been this engine that powers it. But not only has it been the engine, it's also like the mortar that holds everything together. It holds everything in place and allows me to switch these roles, to put on these different hats that I need to put on. And it makes it a whole lot easier. But most importantly, it's evident in the classroom and what I do in the classroom. So I'm going to start a little story here, and I'll start with 3 parts. First is the pre-pandemic, and during the pandemic, and at the end is where we're at right now. So pre-pandemic, before that, about 5, 6 years ago, or even more, our school district, the Ysleta Independent School District, partnered up with Google, and it's been quite some time already, like I mentioned. Once this occurred, it changed the way I taught in the classroom. As Kevin brought up, having Google and Google Classroom, it just changed the way I approach things. And it's all back to the whole equity and inclusion, allowing access to our students and allowing the students have access to the curriculum or the content that I'm trying to deliver. Because I could teach content till I'm blue, but if kids aren't receiving it and they don't have access to it, then it really doesn't it doesn't play a big part in them. So a few years ago, I was pre-pandemic, I started working with Google Classroom, the Chrome extensions, blended learning, the flipped classroom. 6 years ago, I remember 6 years ago telling a colleague, hey, you know what, I want to go completely paperless. They were like, you're crazy. It's never going to happen. We're always going to need paper. And lo and behold, right, a few years later, all that changed, but I'll get into that a little bit later. Screencasting my lectures. And one of the reasons I love to screencast my lectures is because we have a huge population of English language learners. And this allows, right, these English language learners to go back and listen to the lectures at their own pace, at their own time, with the captions. So what I'm trying to do through all this stuff, through all this technology, is find ways to reach our students. And a few years ago, our principal, Mr. Tony Ancuña at Del Valle High School, he formed what we call a technology cadre. And that's where teachers from every core subject and electives meet at least once a month, and we discuss how we integrate technology into a classroom. And Google has been a big part of our meetings and what we do and what we've been bringing across to the kids, especially with all the applications that integrate with Google Classroom as well. So this is where all the whole evolution of of technology integration began, was a few years ago. And then, right, March 2020, exactly 2 years ago, we were getting ready to go to spring break. COVID was around the corner here, and then it hit us, and then we were, right, our world was turned upside down. Our education system was turned upside down. We went into survival mode, and we started all this virtual learning and, going through Google Meet, learning the difference between asynchronous and synchronous lessons, and having professional developments on the fly. And because of this technology cadre, a lot of us were always already ahead of the game. So we used what we knew in order to help our students. And not only that, help our colleagues who still had not integrated technology into their classroom. And this cadre would meet, and we also had a Google Classroom for that. We have Google Classrooms for everything. I have Google Classrooms for everything. So we had one where we had different tutorials, and then the era of hybrid learning came along. And that was kind of difficult in itself, right? Teaching to half of the class at home and then half of the class in your classroom. So it was kind of difficult, but we took what we had and we made the best of it. And now to the present. I've learned enough to be adaptable. And I could sit here and talk about all the technicalities of what I know about Google and Google Classroom and Google Meets and everything else, forms, slides, and so forth. But the important part about this is that it drives back to the whole equity and inclusion. It allows me to meet the needs of my kids. It allows me to create these opportunities. It allows me to empower them in order for them to feel confident enough to embrace and own their own education. So I don't know where I would be without Google Chrome, Google Classroom, right? Slides, YouTube, everything else that comes with it. My favorite one, I like to talk about it, is forms. Oh, I love forms. I can use forms to like there's no tomorrow. I have my own personal saying. I can make a form for that. If kids ask me a question, hey, sir, why don't we do that? I can make a form for that. But all that is seen in my classroom and everything that I do. I teach AP Bio with a lab. I teach dual enrollment bio with a lab. I teach general biology. I'm also a sponsor of 4 clubs: the Medical Sciences Club, the Science National Honor Society, and the Environmental Sciences Club. But my favorite club, and I love to share this story, is the Anime Club. And 4 kids about 4 or 5 years ago came to my classroom looking for a sponsor. And they said, "Sir, do you want to sponsor the anime club?" I said, "I don't know the first thing about anime." And I'll tell you right now, I took them in, and it's the most exciting club that I've ever been a part of. It's the first club that I've ever took on. And I'll tell you right now, I wouldn't let these kids go for anything. But to this day, I'll tell you this much: I still don't know much about anime, but I love those kids. And also, I'm the lead teacher for our new biomedical program. Just yesterday, we were using Google Classroom and Google Meets to meet with students and teachers about this new tutorial program that we're going to launch in late March in order to get these kids ready for the next level, these 8th graders for the next level. And this last one I want to talk about is because it just happened on Monday and Tuesday. We're finalizing for 4 projects, go to the state science fair. And that's the first for our little high school, is that we have 4 projects, and they're all ladies, right? They're all ladies. They're all going to the state science fair. We submitted their projects. And the cool thing about that is that Google Classroom, everything with Google Slides, right? The videos, everything that we had to do was all facilitated by the Google products and everything that is Google. So, like I said in the beginning, our kids bring a set of lived experiences to the table and to the classroom. And having Google just makes it a whole lot easier to meet those needs, to meet and acknowledge those lived experiences in order for our kids to be successful, in order for our kids to flourish, in order for our kids to feel empowered and own their own education. And all this is, like I said, is done by everything that is Google. And I try to use it the best I can. Like I said, I'm not going to say I'm an expert in everything Google. I just know enough to meet the needs of my kids. So I just want to thank everyone at Google for Education. Thank Kevin. Thank my principal and leadership at our district for allowing me to be here. Thank my wife and my son. Like I said, I hope he's not on. And thank you again for taking time out of your day and to listen to this little short story and how Google has impacted my classroom and our kids. Thank you so much.
Right. Any questions anybody might have for Mr. Benavides? Great job too, sir. Thank you.
Oh, thank you. Thank you so much. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I just wanted to share how important as Google has been in these past few years, especially when the pandemic hit, and how it's made an impact.
The classroom experience really resonated with me, especially when you had half virtual and half.
Oh yeah, that was tough. Mm-hmm.
Yes, sir. Yep. We're getting some chats in here to Mr. Benavides. Love the conversation. Love the story.
Mm-hmm. I believe there's a question that says a question for Kevin. Lisa is a plus the same as enterprise.
Yeah, Lisa, it's a great question. So for the rest of the folks here, Lisa asked, is plus the same as enterprise? So you guys may remember going back to 2018, we had G Suite Enterprise for Education, which was branded as the tool where you could receive additional features and workspace and Google Classroom, Google Meet, things of that sort. We had a rebranding of sorts, and that is what has transitioned over into our Google Workspace for Education Plus products. So you have Education Standard, which is for IT. You have Teaching and Learning, which is for curriculum instruction. You have Education Plus, which is both IT and curriculum instruction. And then, of course, you have Fundamentals, which is the free product. So, Lisa, in a roundabout way, the answer is yes. Plus is the same as Enterprise. It's correct. And thank you for asking that. Mr. Benavides, you're getting some shout outs in here.
Okay.
I love getting thrown around, sir.
I saw that. Thank you, everyone.
All right. I'll give you guys about another 5 or 10 seconds. If you don't have any more questions, we're going to give you guys some time back. All right. Thank you guys so very much for your time. Mr. Benavides, thank you so much. A lot of gratitude. Congratulations on the 2022 Texas Teacher of the Year award. Definitely deserving. Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate it. Thank you.
Take care, everybody.
Everyone. We'll see you all. Thank you for listening.
Take care.